Welcome back. It's 8:44. This week, people are learning about important topics like health and nutrition and mental well-being, which is so important. And the Your Weight Matters National Conference is happening in the iDrive area. Dr. Rachel Goldman is one of the speakers there. She is a licensed psychologist and author. Good morning. It is good to see you, Rachel. I'm glad you're here with us this morning.
Thank you.
So your topic at this conference is something that is so important to a lot of young women, and that is body image, because so many are struggling when they look at social media and see things that are unrealistic. Why is it important that you talk about that?
Yeah, so you're right. Body image is so important because we all have it, right? And not everybody has good body image or a bad body image, and it changes over time. And from a psychological perspective, it's so important because our body image impacts so much. It's how we feel about ourselves, it's how we look at ourselves, and it's how we go about our day, because our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are linked.
Yeah. Can I drill down on that? Because you talked about your thoughts and emotions being linked. Mindset matters. And that's something that a lot of people have difficulty with.
It's true, and that's why the psychology is so important. So whatever thought we have, it is then influenced and impacts our emotion and how we feel, and that can impact our behaviors, which is actually the basic premise of cognitive behavior therapy. It's that these three things are linked. So if you wake up one morning having a bad body image moment, kind of like, oh, I hate the way that my legs look today, for instance, that's going to directly impact how you feel and will impact the rest of your day. But if we can catch that, what I call unhelpful thought, then we can tweak it. We don't have to make it super positive, but we can tweak it in a way that works for us.
So how do we go about catching that? Because sometimes that's easier said than done.
Absolutely. It's so much easier said than done. And especially when we're tired, emotional, or stressed, it's going to be even harder to catch it. So the first thing I always recommend, and I actually talk about this in my book as well, is that we start being more aware of how our thoughts are making us feel. And then we can start identifying certain unhelpful thoughts. An example of one is an all or nothing thought, a cognitive distortion, we call them. So all or nothing thinking, kind of like, if I don't have an hour, I'm not going to do it, right? Like if I don't have an hour, I'm not going to go to the gym. So if we can start identifying these statements, these thoughts, labeling as another one, like I am a failure, or should statements, I should do better, I should do this. So just becoming more aware of them is the first step. Then once we become aware of it and we can identify them, then we can say, hold on, how is this making me feel? And then if it's not making us feel good, we can just tweak a word to make it feel a little better, a little more balanced and neutral.
You know, it's interesting because as you say that, the thing that I think about is that it is a practice, because it's one thing to say, to do all of these things you're saying. It's another thing to practice it. And when you fall off the wagon one day, to get back on it the next day. Talk about how people can make that shift when they fall off to get back on, just like diet and exercise.
Exactly.
You mess up one day and you're like, okay, my diet's ruined.
Right. So that's the all or nothing thinking, right? So I actually like to get away from even that thought process of falling off the wagon.
Okay.
Right? We just made a mistake, or we just splurged a little, like no big deal, right? So if we can even tweak the way that we're talking to ourselves, even in those little moments, it's better. And then remind ourselves, like, what's the big deal, right? So in cognitive behavior therapy, we actually say, let's examine the evidence. Where's the evidence that you fell off the wagon? Where's the evidence that it's screwed up? Where's the evidence that it's over, that you failed, right? Usually there's not really that much evidence. There's more of the positive than the negative, right? Like how many days this week did you, quote, fall off the wagon, right? Maybe once. And then be kinder to ourselves. And that's actually what I'm talking about at the conference as well, is looking at yourself through a kinder lens and being a little bit more compassionate to ourselves with the way that we're speaking to ourselves.
You know, one of the other things I often think about is the fact that we are not forgiving of ourselves. I think we're harder on ourselves sometimes than we are on other people. And so when we talk about things like managing stress, things like being forgiving of ourselves, I know all of that is in your book. Did this come from a personal place for you?
So it actually has come from years of clinical work. So I worked at a hospital in bariatric surgery for years and saw thousands of patients. And clients would come in my door and say similar things, like, I know what I should do, but I just can't get doing it.
So you kept hearing the same thing?
Same things, the same patterns. I should do it, but I don't know how to do it. Or I'm a failure, what's wrong with me? Something must be wrong with me. And then I would give them these little tweaks or these, words of advice, and they would come back and say, wow, I feel like I didn't change anything, but something changed. And it's because what I often say is we don't need to overhaul our whole lives. We need to start today with a small tweak or a small mindset shift. And that one small change has a ripple effect. Because again, we start feeling better, we start talking to ourselves kinder, and that then impacts our behavior as well.
And not waiting for everything to be perfect.
Because there's never a perfect.
Never a perfect time. The name of the book is When Life Happens. Rachel Goldman, Ph.D. You're going to be speaking. Tell us the dates, times, when we can see you, all that stuff.
Yes, thank you. So starting yesterday, actually, is Your Weight Matters Convention, which is hosted by the Obesity Action Coalition in Orlando near SeaWorld. And tomorrow is actually so I'm speaking tomorrow, and there's a health hub that's actually open to the public tomorrow as well. But my talk is all about body image. I'm doing a workshop to help people see themselves through a kinder lens, and I'm doing an expert lunch with an expert as well.